Let's talk about the Mission Impossible movies. I enjoy all of them. Well, most of them. I pretty much binged through the entire Mission Impossible franchise in about a week, and I thought I would just share like a quick little ranking. This is going to include Dead Reckoning Part 1. We are going to rank this from least favorite to my favorite Mission Impossible movie. So we will go ahead and start with my least favorite, which is Mission Impossible 2. I feel like this really isn't a shocker. I am sure if you looked at other people's lists, this would probably be in the bottom 2. This is my least favorite though, because even though I do think the action is fun at times and pretty dumb, none of this really feels like a Mission Impossible movie. I would say this has aged the worst out of all of the Mission Impossible movies because of the action and because of the Limp Bizkit nu metal music. It is just an era of the 2000s, but even if this movie has cheesy action and it can be fun at times, the relationship between Cruise and Thandua Newton lacks a lot of chemistry, and I feel like the villain is pretty forgettable. Next on the list is the original Mission Impossible movie. I think from here on up, at least to me, you can make a valid argument to why any of these deserve to be in their place of their rankings, and I think it can totally make sense, but yeah, this is number 6 for me. The thing that I love most about this movie compared to all of the other ones on this list is that Brian De Palma made his movie the most unique compared to everyone else. And yes, that's including John Woo. John Woo has his own distinct look, his distinct features, but Brian De Palma just has more creativity going on. The cinematography is fun, the set pieces help define this movie, and this film arguably has the most iconic stunt in the entire franchise. I did find the plot to be a little convoluted though, and I just think the final action sequence is a little over the top, it's a little silly. My 5th favorite film in the franchise is Mission Impossible 3. MI3 is really when the franchise starts to find its identity. It's non-stop with the action and it's paced really well, but this movie just feels like a conglomerate of a bunch of mid-2000s action movies. There really isn't much going on that makes this feel like a J.J. Abrams film other than the lens flares. I mean, at least the other 2 movies felt like a Woo and a De Palma movie. But despite that, I think this is a really fun movie. It has my favorite mask sequence, my favorite opening in the entire franchise, and Philip Seymour Hoffman is just amazing as a villain. Plus, I feel like this film is lacking a little bit in some stunts. The most iconic stunt work in this film is the Tom Cruise chase sequence. And I mean, goddamn, that is a good chase sequence. But that's about it that this film has going. If you want to look for like an iconic moment from this movie, it's either going to be the opening or that chase scene. Moving on up, my next favorite film of the franchise is Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. This movie pretty much hooks you right on and shows you Tom Cruise hanging onto a flying plane. Incredible. Rogue Nation has some pretty awesome action sequences in the first half of the movie. Plus, we are introduced to Rebecca Ferguson in this franchise, who is honestly the only character in this entire franchise that is a match for Hunt. It's only number 4 for me on this list because the film starts to lose a little bit of its momentum, and I think the ending is just a little anticlimactic. But this is director Christopher McQuarrie's first MI movie, and I think it proves he knows how to handle action gracefully, and he always keeps you on your toes. My 3rd favorite Mission Impossible movie is Dead Reckoning Part 1. This might be recency bias, this might change on a rewatch, who knows, but I had a lot of fun with this one. Even though it is a part 1, it still works as its own movie. There's a satisfying conclusion, it doesn't end on a cliffhanger. I love majority of the additions to the cast. Haley Atwell is fun, and Pom Klementieff literally kicks ass. She is awesome in this. Isai Morales plays Gabriel in this film, who I found to be a little underwhelming, but maybe they'll make him a bit more interesting in the next film. The film does have some of its tropes though that I think by this point I get a little bit tired, and it's mainly just like us being reminded how much Ethan Hunt cares about so many people. It's like, yes, we got it. Plus, there's just something a little bit about the editing that just feels slightly off towards the end, the train sequence / Tom Cruise doing his motorcycle jump. There's just something off about cross-cutting back and forth between it. I'm not sure. Maybe it won't be a problem on the rewatch. But that car chase scene, is without a doubt my favorite car chase scene in the entire sequence. There's an interesting dilemma that's going on with it. It's just, I mean, wow, it's just creative and exhilarating. Also, this is probably the most thematic Mission Impossible film since probably the original. I just think it has an interesting, solid commentary on AI. So I'm excited to see where part 2 goes. My second favorite Mission Impossible film is Ghost Protocol. So if Mission Impossible 3 is the installment that found its identity, then Ghost Protocol is the one that solidifies it and pushes it even further, honestly. Brad Bird's first live action film has exactly what I want from an MI movie. Incredible action, silly gadgets, great stunt work. Tom Cruise climbing the Burj Khalifa is iconic, to me at least. The momentum building up to it is fun and intense. When you watch it, it is just jaw-dropping. Plus, this movie has quiet moments as well. And I'm not talking about moments where we get to rest in between action sequences or before we're about to enter a club or anything like that. No, this is the first film since the original that I can recall where it uses silence as a way to make some moments more exciting and more intense. Plus, this film has some great actors that are in this film. I do wish they were in other ones, but they are just a perfect addition to this film. Léa Seydoux, Paula Patton, and Josh Holloway, who someday will get another shining moment on the big screen. Hopefully, it will be with Brad Bird again. I'm just a lost fanboy. And now you already know what it is. My favorite Mission Impossible movie is Fallout. I'm sure this is a lot of people's favorite Mission Impossible movie because it is awesome. Not only does this film have some of the best stunt work in the entire franchise, but it also has some of the best emotional moments in the entire franchise as well. The skydiving sequence is unlike anything I have seen before, but also the helicopter sequences are amazing as well. They are tense. It makes me uncomfortable at times to watch. I have a fear of heights. The final action sequence is probably some of the best stuff I have seen from an action film in the last decade. It just has the perfect intensity, has the perfect emotional weight to it. I mean, honestly, Fallout is probably just one of the best action movies of the last decade. It's fun, the pacing doesn't ever feel wonky, the editing is so slick, and it helps add to the emotions these characters are going through, especially towards the end. Henry Cavill was a great addition to the cast. He brought us an awesome fight sequence, but more importantly, he brought us an awesome mustache. And side note, I wish Warner Brothers or Joss Whedon kept that mustache on Superman in those Justice League reshoots, because that would have just been hilarious and awesome to see Superman with a mustache, especially seeing Henry Cavill rock one so well. That's it. Those are my favorite Mission Impossible movies. It might change next week. It might change when I rewatch Dead Reckoning again. It might even change while I'm editing this, so who knows where this will go. Thank you so much for watching this. If you made it this far, what is your favorite Mission Impossible movie? How would you rank them? If you like this, please like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you want. Make sure you exercise every day, drink your milk, and have a great day.